Hey guys, it's Grant Balfour here, ex-pitcher of the Tampa Bay Rays, Oakland Athletics, Minnesota Twins, Milwaukee Brewers, Cincinnati Reds. I just wanted to say you're watching Mattie C's Sports for You and Me podcast. Enjoy the show. Mattie's got a lot of great things to talk about, wide range of sports. Get on there. Hope to see you guys soon on the show. All right, guys. Take care.
On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch.
Coming in at 320 kilobytes per second, it's time for Mattie C's Sports for You and Me.
All right, everybody. Mattie C Sports for You and Me. I have a guest here who I met at Cage Titans Combat 3. Now, people that don't know, that was a fun-filled event full of MMA, grappling, Muay Thai, and I think they call it a super fight with 4-on-4. And this guy right here was in a grappling match, and good dude. And want to introduce Casey Lamonte. So, Casey, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, I mean, how did you like the Cage Titans atmosphere? And, it seems like you and Leon, were good after the match. And seems like you guys get along pretty good.
Yeah, so I've known Leon for a long time, just through the MMA community, jiu-jitsu community, but also we share similar professions as well. So I've known him for a long time. It was kind of funny because I had his name pop up a few different times with different, jiu-jitsu promotions and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, like we're really good friends. But, I tried finding a match. And I couldn't really find anyone, and his name came up again. So I was like, all right. So I messaged him. I was like, hey, you cool if we grapple? He's like, yeah, let's go. So, it was good going against him. He's a real nice guy, good competitor.
Yeah, you both were class acts when I was there. Simple interview, in and out. And you guys, it was funny because you guys were like interviewing each other. You're like, I could have did this. And, I could have did this. And, you guys were competitive, but in a competitive manner, you guys were still like good with each other. So
yeah.
It seemed it was a good time. And I mean, like there was a lot of action going on that night. And I just saw it and I was just like, oh, like I'll talk to these grappling guys because I haven't heard from any of them in a while. I know Bruno from MMA and I know him from his wild, crazy action that night, man. Holy crap.
Yeah.
That was just
something
unreal.
else. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a flying armbar. I was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. This is insane. But
it was funny because, I went to go corner him before my match. And then we walked back up after his match and I got a little kind of like an adrenaline dump because I'm all pumped up for him. And we walk into the back and I start warming up. He's like, all right, it's your turn. I'm like, okay, I'll follow that one up. Like,
it seems like, Bruno knows everybody, and especially in the Brazilian jiu-jitsu world. And he was translating for me in one of the super fight. Every single one of them came in, and a lot of them spoke Portuguese. So he comes in and they're like all talking at the same time. And I'm like, Bruno, I don't understand what they're talking about. Like, can you translate for me? And he's like, oh, sure, I'll translate. And it was just a funny time. Like, he's a good dude. And you guys share the same gym, right?
Yeah, so I train under Bruno. I've been training under Bruno for probably around 6 years or so. We train out at Junico in Hanover. But yeah, so we've known each other for a while. I've been training together for a while.
And it seems like wherever you go, he goes, or wherever he goes, you go, you know. And I appreciate it because, like, from what I see, you guys make it into a family experience. You guys have your family with you, which is pretty cool in itself. And you know, I respect the friendship you guys have, and I only see that through social media. But I mean, how close are you and Bruno?
Super close. I mean, like you said, it's like family. I mean, we got, you know, our wives train, our kids train. You know, it's a family affair wherever we go. Like when we compete, the whole family comes. You know, it's amazing to have that because a lot of especially for like, you know, guys in MMA, jiu-jitsu, you know, they go train, their wives get upset that they go train so much, but having like my wife train with me and support me. And it's amazing to have that. You know, my kids on the mat now, they're 5 and 7. They're starting to do kids classes with jiu-jitsu, you know, training under Bruno. And I wish I started when I was that young.
I know. Yeah. I only get the interview part.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, our relationship is as close as it gets. You know, we go out to dinner all the time. I mean, we're always together. It's much more than just jiu-jitsu when it comes to us. We're all family.
And you know, what people don't realize is that in the grappling world, it's a whole nother realm. Like people don't understand the tournaments. They're everywhere, and some of them are very hard to get into. It's not like it's not even like you just traveling all over the place. I mean, I go from my cousin myself down in Maryland. He would go to Pittsburgh, then he would go to Philadelphia, he would go down south. You know, they're everywhere. There's always a tournament, whether it be in a small venue. Sorry, excuse my dog. It's all right. Come here.
No, it's all good.
So yeah, I mean the tournaments and like the welcoming and all of them is amazing because my cousin came up here and it's like some of them are in little colleges, some of them are in, you know, big arenas. Like what's that like for you? I mean, have you had that atmosphere from like a tiny little high school to like
bit.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, have you been to the experience of like from like a high school gym to maybe like a massive arena, anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, you know, a long time ago when I first started, you know, in this sport, I started in 2008. I was actually, you know, I was in it for MMA. So I started training when I was 18 in 2008. I had a few MMA fights. My first MMA fight was at the Dorchester Armory, you know, this small little gym. And then my last MMA fight was at the Songus Arena at UMass Lowell. So I've been from those small little gyms to big arenas. And then like with jiu-jitsu, I've done super fights with Reality Fighting where it's at Mohegan Sun. And then I've done Nagas that, you know, are held in little gyms. So again, like you said, it kind of takes you everywhere. You know, I thought it was amazing for Cage Titans to put on, you know, the super fight grappling matches and the Muay Thai and kind of mix things up. Because for us grapplers, we don't really get like the spotlight. Like we're always going to these local tournaments, kind of going through the grind. And nobody's really there to see it. And, you know, we got our teammates there to support us. But, you know, building a fan base and building a reputation for ourselves, I thought it was amazing that Cage Titans provided that opportunity, you know, to kind of display us for the fans in New England and show them what jiu-jitsu is all about and how entertaining it can be. I mean, I'm sure you probably noticed And, I know Mike Pulvier was kind of like skeptical himself about the whole jiu-jitsu super fights. Like, how are the fans going to react to it when it comes to mixing in the MMA and the Muay Thai? And the fans were actually very educated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like, you see, like when somebody would go for a pass or a sweep, you'd get a reaction from the fans. And, I gotta again I know I said it in my interview, but I gotta thank Mike Pulvier for putting us on that stage. I thought it was amazing.
And that's the thing about Mike is, just like you said, he, from the soda vendor to me to you, everybody in that whole thing is a part of this organization. He's always there for anybody. And that's what's great about me. He says, you need a table, you need something to drink. And I'm like, you're the one running, man. You could run the Boston Marathon, how fast you go around this arena.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy, and I'm really glad they introduced the grappling. I wasn't there for this other two super combat nights, but that night was really cool. It got me to appreciate grappling more, because it kind of like left my head for a while, because my cousin lives down there, and like, I saw him grapple at Eastern Nazarene in Quincy, and tons of kids, no gi, like, I'm like, what is this? Like, what is this? What does this mean? Like, and then like they started telling me, and like coaches are right there yelling at you, like in the bleachers, like, holy moly, man, like this is unbelievable. And it's so cool seeing everybody like from 18 to 30. A 30-year-old guy could fight an 18-year-old kid. So it's pretty amazing to honestly see all that action. That's the underground stuff that nobody sees in the grappling. Oh, I don't know if did I cut off?
You cut off a little bit. I was hearing most of what you're saying though. Like, I totally agree. Like, the underground aspect of grappling, and, doing this for such a long time. I mean, having to travel all over the place, and nobody really like, knowing what you're doing, but you're competing all the time. And you really like, now for me, competing at black belt, when I compete, I go into these tournaments. I have no idea like how long these people have been a black belt for, what type of skill set that they have. It kind of leaves things for question a little bit. Like when you're at, blue belt or purple belt or brown belt, you kind of know, okay, they're at that particular level. I kind of know what to expect. And, now things have kind of changed a little bit with competing at black belt. But I mean, so far it's been an awesome experience for me. Like, Cage Titans was my first match technically as a black belt, even though it was no gi. I did have a match the weekend after. It was my black belt debut in the gi. I ended up winning that tournament. It was an amazing experience, to compete at black belt in the gi and win my debut. It was awesome. I actually competed the next weekend after that on a Naga, and ended up, I faced against a real high level black belt again, like kind of what I was mentioning. You kind of don't know how long people have had black belts for. Mm-hmm. And, I know this guy competed for IBJJF as a black belt. He won the Boston Open, New York Open. He competed at Masters Worlds. And I ended up making some mistakes, and I ended up losing that one. But I have a busy schedule for this year. I already have a bunch of stuff in line. I actually have a super fight match for Reality Fighting, Mohegan Sun in the gi. So I'm looking forward to that. I probably have about 6 or 7 matches coming up within the next few weeks. I'm just trying to stay busy, get some experience, get in there. Because the ultimate goal for me is I want to compete in IBJJF, and I want to win Masters Worlds at black belt. That's kind of like the pinnacle for me. So I'm trying to get as much experience as possible competing in, whether it be local stuff or whether it be super fights. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm kind of reaching out to promoters all over the Northeast. I'm willing to travel. I have a super fight match in Connecticut towards the end of April. So just trying to stay busy, trying to get some experience.
That's excellent, man. I mean, that's a lot of schedule right there. And I'm telling you, man, you guys, like, even though like it's not a belt situation, you guys had the biggest fucking medals I've ever seen. Like the medals
Yeah.
are as big as your face. I was looking at them like, holy shit! Like these things are huge. And I'm like, that takes a lot of work to get that thing, I'm sure. And it seemed like you have it's very flexible. Like, does it seem flexible for you to like set up yourself to get to these tournaments? Like, okay, like it does it reach out that far? So do they reach out as far as like August or stuff like that? Because I know it's hard in some cards to be so far away. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. The farthest one that I have away right now is June 11th for reality fighting at Mohegan Sun for that gi super fight match. And again, like I said, I probably have like maybe like 7 or 8 lined up in between there, whether it be local tournaments that I've already signed up for or other super fights or just promotions that I know that are holding super fights that I put my name in for. And I felt like, once when I got my black belt in December, doing this for so long and, kind of going to the gym every day and training, it just became kind of like, you're kind of content just going in and training and going through the motions. And I'm sure other people in jiu-jitsu can relate to this, but you kind of like hit a wall where you're not really making a lot of improvements. And I kind of felt that way when I got my black belt. And also just like the nervousness of having your black belt as well, because there's kind of a different expectation when you get your black belt. I felt like just diving into the deep end and jumping into all these super fights and tournaments would just get me out of my comfort zone and get me to train harder and get me to, work on my technique and start making improvements. And, getting my black belt in December, and since now I've had 3 either super fights or tournaments that I've done, and I feel like it's made all the difference in the world. I feel sharp. I feel the best I've ever been, and I kind of solidified it for myself, winning my debut at black belt, that I belong here, and I could hang with some of the best. So that was kind of my goal of jumping into all these tournaments and why I'm competing so much. And I'm going to continue to do that.
And, from your post, like I said, it's like you're standing on that platform. It's not like you are maybe something I don't know. You came in 4th or something, but like most of the tournaments are fairly close to each other, I'm assuming, and you're winning them. Like, I see what you're saying. I mean, not in my point of view, but kind of like where you say you hit a wall. It's kind of like, is it a feeling like, oh, okay, I got my black belt now. Like, what do I do? Like, where do I go from here?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, people kind of get fixated in jiu-jitsu on the belt system. And, it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing, at least in my opinion. I feel like it's a good thing because, you drive yourself to get to that next level. But then when you get to black belt, I mean, that's kind of like sometimes the end goal for people. And, a lot of people in jiu-jitsu, like once when they are, they're a white belt and they get to their blue belt level, that's probably where the most people kind of leave jiu-jitsu and quit, because they've reached that first level. They've kind of reached the goal that they wanted to reach. And, every belt, I feel like it kind of gets, it gets harder. But not a lot of people know the amount of people that quit once when they get their black belt. I feel like that's not really something that's spoke about. But it's a few different reasons. It's the reason of people being unsure if they're at that level, but it's also people being content that they're at that level. And I didn't want to be either or. And I kind of felt that, I was a little content. And I wasn't really doing as much as I could do to be the best version of myself. And, again, I felt like jumping into all these, it would kind of light a fire into my ass, and it definitely did. And, again, I feel the best I've ever felt.
That's awesome, man. And, good cardio for what you do, and good relaxation, seems like. And, I agree with what you're saying, just because, like, I've known a person since middle school. This girl has done all sorts of karate, all sorts of stuff, and she's a 3rd-degree black belt now. She's my age, so I'm 33, that many years, and she does like stunt performing. Like, she was on Cobra Kai, and like I said, the girl's been like you said, some people just quit right away because they see that defining stage, but like, to earn that degree is like really hard. I'm sure it was very hard for you, but like, once you get it, like, people don't understand they have ceremonies for these things, like, in certain spots, and like, it's a very serious honor and very serious thing. It's not like, oh, hey, like, let me just turn the belt in and there it is. It's a dedication, and congratulations on your black belt. And it's good to see that that grappling is a big part of MMA. And then I think things like having this stuff like Mike does, where he had the Combat Night 3. If we could have more of those, like, mixed all in together, this is where the whole grappling thing will rise. If we have this, say in Bellator or UFC or something. So, I mean, do you like agree, or do you still feel like, sorry, if
No, I 100%, I agree with that 100%. Because I feel like you're going to start getting those people that never typically watch jiu-jitsu, that are more of like MMA fans or more Muay Thai fans, and seeing, us, display our technique and put on exciting, entertaining matches, and, become fans, and then, maybe start coming to local tournaments, or, maybe start, ringing Mike Povier's phone, asking to do another combat night to where we're doing jiu-jitsu because they loved it so much. Maybe other MMA promotions will start doing this as well. Who knows? Maybe I might be able to talk Mike Povier and doing a straight jiu-jitsu card where we actually have just like, a platform mat, and, we just put on a whole super fight card. You never know. But also, I got to talk to Mike Povier about getting Team Junico in there. I know they had the team jiu-jitsu. I'd love an opportunity for our team to come together, and for us to find out about Junico and all of us. So I think we'd have an amazing team. So hopefully I could get in contact with him and get us in there. That'd be awesome.
He's a very good man to get in touch with. Like, he'll answer you very quickly.
Oh, absolutely. I already put the bug in his ear too. He knows. I put it in his ear right after the event was done. So he should know.
The thing is that I don't know if you were there for Cage Titans 50, when they had the amateurs were in the afternoon until I think it was about 5 o'clock, and then opened up 2 hours later. It was all the MMA, all the pro cards. So, like, if they could do that kind of deal, like, start off with that, put a grappling matches, Muay Thai in the afternoon until the evening, and then do the MMA. I think that would be a great idea, because people want to hear names, and Cage Titans is a big name, but put Cage Titans with, it sounds badass with Combat Night 3 and then Combat Night 4, or it goes on and on, or you change the name even. But I think that's a great idea to really get the grappling game out there. And you and you and Bruno really showed your stuff that night. And, you know, I respect Bruno because he fought MMA very well, and he's a dedicated fighter, dedicated to everything. Just I got to get in touch with him because he won't answer me. It's a busy dude like you. So yeah, and
I'll try and get a hold of him.
Beautiful.
I know he is very good.
Thank
you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
You guys got a beautiful gym, man. I mean, it's really nice, and I'm like, oh my God, like I got to go check this out. That's why I was going to talk to Bruno and be like, hey, let me go to your gym, come take a look at this cool spot. And I mean, where is it in Hanover? Whereabouts?
So it's right across the street from the old Hanover Mall where they're doing all the new construction. Right off of Route 3, exit 13. Once when you get off of there, it's right across the street in just like a shopping mall area. We're at like the corner unit. So it's not too far right off the highway, pretty easy to reach. So if anybody wants to come train with us, come knock on our door.
That's Junico. What do you call it? Just Junico, or is it more to that? Is like Junico MMA?
Just Junico. Just Junico, yeah. But we do, we had jujitsu there, Muay Thai classes. They hold yoga classes and stuff with a different instructor. But our primary, function of the gym is jujitsu.
That's awesome. And from what we're saying now, I mean, what's your goal for the rest of this year? Like, what do you want to do personally yourself, and like what is it you want your gym to do? I mean, do you guys want to expand into different ventures, like, kickboxing or anything like that? Boxing?
I mean, honestly, I'm, just going to focus on my jiu-jitsu. The MMA thing was something that I did when I was a little bit younger, and I don't really want to get punched in the face anymore. So I've got them all set with that. But I solely want to focus on my jiu-jitsu and just keep getting better, keep growing our team. I again, like I said, I got a bunch of matches already lined up. I want to continue doing that for the remainder of the year. Hopefully IBJJF will be coming to Boston. I know they do typically around like the summertime. But I'd love to compete for IBJJF and just continue to better myself. That's all I'm really looking to do at this point. Like you said, with Bruno, I mean, with our relationship and stuff like that, he's been competing by my side, and, it's made it so much easier for me. I just, training under Bruno has been amazing. It's hard to really put into words, because I've trained with a lot of professors, over my time of jiu-jitsu, and, he's just a different breed. The way that he trains, I never see any black belts train like he trains, where typically, at gyms, black belts are kind of nervous to train with lower belts. Bruno trains with everyone. He wants to get everyone better. His sole focus in jiu-jitsu, not to really speak for him, but I believe is to make his students the best that they can be. It's such
tell just the way he was.
Yeah, it's such a selfless thing, and for especially someone at his level, the people that he competes against, the way that he competes, he could be someone that goes to some mecca of jiu-jitsu, like an Atos or something like that, where he has much more high-level black belts to train with, and kind of solely focus on himself. But the fact that he runs a gym himself and trains with all of his students, and his sole focus is on improving his students, and putting them first over himself is just such an amazing thing to me. I hope one day when I open up my own school, and I'm teaching, that I could be as good of a leader as Bruno's been for us.
And it's amazing. And the funny thing is that like I'm sure you've been at a turn. Well, obviously you've been in a tournament with him. You always know where that dude is because he dyes his hair like every other day. You just know
Yeah. He's
where
always
he
got the
is.
bleach or the you know when he's competing because when he's got the hair dye going, got the bleach going, and then he throws the green in there for Jacare for
The
the
green.
alligator
Yep.
in jiu-jitsu matches or whatever it may be.
And that's what he did against Joe Penafiel. I think he had green hair that night. I don't know if that was the night he broke his leg. I'm not sure, but he just is a whole nother realm. Like I see the dedication and the passion he has for each sport, and seeing him like in the winners room, in the winner's circle per se at Cage Titans. He comes in there and we talk and all that stuff. And I said to him, I said, Bruno, why are you wearing a hat right now? You're the guy who like distinctly makes it out like you're right there. You got the hair to like make it yourself known. You don't need a hat, bro. It's like, no, I'm trying to represent Junico. I was like, all right, so you got to get me a hat too. It's like, oh yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
He's a very kind guy. I respect him, and you coming on my show, of course, the same thing. So, I think one of the things I asked you, and I don't know if it was you, was your go-to meal after a fight was Chinese food, right? Was that
Yeah.
your answer? Okay, and that was your wife next to
You
you,
weren't
right?
a fan, right? You weren't a fan of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It was the sushi. I wasn't. Yeah, that's what it was. I was trying to remember.
Yeah. Okay. Oh no, I remember. I said the noodles with the shrimp, and you're like, okay, you got me back now. You got me back. Yeah.
I was trying to remember. I was like, I'm trying to flash back to see if he remembers. But that's funny. I'm glad. So is your wife in competitive grappling too?
Yeah, I'm kind of losing you a little bit.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, it's
grappling
okay. Kind of going in and out.
Is your wife into it too? Like, does she go to competitions like herself and compete?
I heard like half of that. You asked him about my.
Yeah, if she competed in any competitions too. Am I still losing you?
Yeah, so I heard like half of it, but I think I got you. My wife, she's been training for almost just as long as I have. She started just a few years after I did. She definitely was a little bit ahead of the curve, when it comes to her training and when she started off. So she fought in MMA for a long time too, just like I did. And so she's 6-0 in MMA, 5 first-round finishes. And she's a brown belt with 4 stripes now, so she's knocking on the door of getting her black belt. And she's competed a bunch in local tournaments or super fights. She competed for Fight to Win, which is a big super fight promotion for jiu-jitsu. She always wins. Somehow she always finds a way to win. I don't think I've ever seen her lose. She's definitely something special. And it was pretty amazing when we had my son. So my son's 7 years old now. Mm-hmm. She was 4-0 at the time in MMA. She had my son, and within 9 months after giving birth to my son, she had an MMA fight and won. Almost 9 months to the date, which is pretty crazy. She's something else. So she's been around like the New England MMA community and jiu-jitsu community for a long time. She's been kind of away from the scene for a little bit, just because with our kids and life and everything kind of gets in the way, work. But she's still training every day. She still always comes to the gym with me. We bring our kids go to the kids class, and then they hang around when we have the adults class. And then my wife and I train. We train a lot together. I always get the question like, oh, who gets the better of who? But, it's always fun rolling with her. And, we're always trying to get each other better too. Like we got mats at the house when we do drills and stuff like that. So
That's awesome.
we're through and through a jiu-jitsu family. And we actually met at the gym doing MMA way back in the day. So yeah, it's just something that's always been in our lives. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent, man. And so I wanted to dedicate this show to Tamar Bucci, who passed away, state trooper who passed away, unfortunately, on the highway in Stoneham, I believe. And all the fallen officers in recent here in Massachusetts. So this is dedicated to her. But so again, Casey,
before you go on, I gotta thank you for that, man. Tamar was she was my classmate, the 85th RTT. One of the good ones. That was a tough loss for us, a tough loss for everyone. I bought some of her gear. They got some custom gear that they're making for her that the proceeds go to her family. I haven't gotten it yet, but I'd be wearing it for the show. But
if you got the link, send it to me and I will definitely post it on here for sure.
Absolutely. I'll send that to you after we're all wrapped up. I think it's open for a few more days. But yeah, man, that's amazing for you to do, to dedicate.
I got a lot of family, including immediate family. I mean, my father was corrections. My uncle was corrections, state troopers in my family, Boston police, everything. So always for the blue. So, I don't like to see any tough things. In the town I live in Weymouth, we had a very bad incident with Michael Chestnut. For people who don't know, he was killed by a young kid who, I don't know what he was thinking, but very tragic. So a lot of respect to all the law enforcement for sure. And I just, it's a great thing that what all types of law enforcement does. You're all family, whether you're staties, whether you're local towns, whether you're city, whatever, you all stand together. So much respect for that. You keep us safe.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
So, Casey, I just want to say thank you so much for joining the show and really giving me an education on grappling and how this sport really needs to take off, because this is very important in the MMA world, whatever type of stuff is going on. This grappling is very important and it should be rectified and known, not just in the Olympics, not just quickly. So, Casey, I want to thank you and I wish you good luck in the tournaments and everything like that. And I hope your wife kicks your ass. No offense. She probably does.
Oh yeah, she gives me a run for my money.
Oh, you guys are definitely dedicated with the mats at the house too.
Yeah, man, we don't stop. Yeah, Mattie, thanks for having me on. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it. It was great talking with you. I know right after we had our interview, we were talking about this, getting together and talking a little bit about jiu-jitsu and talking about just life in general and everything. I appreciate you taking the time to have me on.
And as I tell all my my guests and all my people who subscribe or watch my show, that everybody that comes on my show, whether or not you like it or not, your family when you come on my show. And, that's why I appreciate MMA is a big world and, they've shown me tons of respect. They're not scary people. They're average, normal life people like you and I. So, and a grappler right here is a first. Bruno could have been the first, but he screwed up that one.
I'll have a talk with him.
All right, Casey. Thank you for joining the show, brother.
All right. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for watching Mattie Sees Sports for you and me. Make sure to follow Matty Cameron on Twitter at MattCameron23 or follow him on Instagram at MattieC23 or subscribe to his YouTube channel, Mattie Sees Sports for you and me. Once again, thanks for watching.